Australia, New Zealand. Two countries whom for over 100 years have been the best of friends. Well, most of the time, that is. When it comes to the sporting arena, each country loves nothing more than beating the other. This coming weekend, the trend will continue when Australia's Brodie Kostecki and New Zealand's Shane van Gisbergen will go head to head at the World Centre of Racing, Indianapolis, road course. So, whom are these two combatants and what can we expect from them? Let's find out. Firstly, representing New Zealand, Shane van Gisbergen is a name whom all NASCAR fans would know by now, but struggle to pronounce for some reason. He, of course, casually rocked up to Chicago last month and wiped the floor with everyone, becoming the first person since Johnny Rutherford to claim a victory on their Cup debut. In the Australian Supercars, Shane is one of the most experienced drivers, making his debut all the way back in 2007 at only age 18, driving for Team Kiwi Racing, after a deal was made between themselves and Stone Brothers Racing. During his debut outing at Oran Park, Shane would instantly turn heads by finishing 13th in a wet and wild second race, which over the years would become Shane's specialty, as well as doing sick burnouts. Over the next 16 seasons, he'd drive for Stone Brothers Racing from 2008 to 2012, Techno Motorsports from 2013 to 2015, and as of me recording, Triple Eight Racing. Currently, Shane has 80 career wins and is a 3-time and 2-time defending champion of the series. He has also had great success in International GT, winning races at tracks such as Monza and the Nürburgring. He has also picked up a class podium at the 2015 Daytona 24-hour, and swept the 2021 New Zealand Grand Prix despite having to start from the pit lane in the third and final race. Shane is also one of only 2 people to complete the Bathurst Triple Crown, which was accomplished by winning the Bathurst 1000, which Shane did in 2020 and 2022, the Bathurst 12-hour, which Shane accomplished in 2016, and winning the Bathurst 6-hour, which Shane accomplished in 2021, which was the third and final to complete the trifecta. So, fair to say, Shane has accomplished almost anything you can in the world of motor racing. Anyway, enough about a fella from across the ditch. Allow me to introduce a competitor whom most probably don't know much about. Representing the land down under, Brodie Kostecki, whom most people aren't aware, actually got his start in the States. During these years, Brodie competed in the late model series and the then K&N, now known as ARCA, East Series in 2013 and 2014. During these years, he got to race against Daniel Suarez and Corey LaJoie, whom will be 2 of his competitors come race day. Sadly, despite picking up 2 poles and a top 5 finish at the season-ending Dover, funding and other family circumstances cut the dream short. After returning to Australia, Brodie wouldn't participate in any series until 2017, when he picked up a ride with Matt Stone Racing in the Super 2 series, which is basically Supercars equivalent to NASCAR's Xfinity series. Despite some teething issues, Brodie was able to pick up 3 top 10s, including the final 2 races at Newcastle, and finished a respectable 15th in the standings. In 2018, he moved over to his family team to compete alongside his cousins Jake and Kurt Kostecki. During this season, Brodie improved leaps and bounds, finishing in the top 10 in the first 7 races, with 4 of them being top 5s, and he'd also pick up his first victory at the Sandown round. He was in championship contention before a crash in the second last round at Bathurst put an end to those hopes. In 2019, Brodie would only compete in the first 2 rounds of the championship. However, in each race, except for one, he finished in the top 5. The reason for the withdrawal was to allow the team to prepare the car for their wildcard effort for that year's Enduros. Their debut at that year's Bathurst 1000 almost ended before it began when a cool box issue resulted in Brodie receiving carbon monoxide poisoning. Nice one, guys. Despite cousin Kurt being on standby, Brodie was eventually cleared and was able to continue the race. Their run ended after 111 laps when Jake crashed the car up at Reed Park. Their remaining runs at Gold Coast and Sandown were respectable, with results of an 18th and 2 16th place finishes. In 2020, Brodie had one more run at the Super 2 Series, this time with Eggleston Motorsport. Once again, he'd only compete in 2 of the 3 rounds that were ran due to the virus that shall not be named. In the races he participated, he finished in the top 10 in every single race and won the first round at Adelaide. He skipped the final round at Bathurst to focus on the Supercars series, where he picked up an endurance drive alongside Anton De Pasquale in the Erebus 99. In the race, he gained slight recognition when he would converse 7-time champion Jamie Whincup into making a mistake. Apart from that, they had a clean race and finished 9th out of the 19th finishes. In December 2020, it was announced that Brodie had earned a full-time effort with Erebus starting from the following season. In the first 2 seasons, he would accomplish a total of 5 podiums, including a 3rd place finish in the 2021 Bathurst 1000. Thus far, 2023 has been Brodie's best season, with 3 wins and 12 podiums across the 19 races run. He is also, as of this recording, leading the standings by 41 points over his teammate Will Brown. Which now brings us to this weekend, when the two will go head to head at this weekend's Cup race at the Indy Road Course, where Shane will reunite with the Trackhouse Project 91 effort, whilst Brodie will debut for Richard Childress in their 33 entry. On a side note, Van Gisbergen will also make his truck debut at IRP for Nice Motorsports in their 41 entry. As for my expectations for these two, do I expect them to win? As much as it would be nice, no. Because unlike Chicago, most of their competitors have had experience racing at the circuit. So already they are slightly on the back foot. However, I can see them getting the hang of the track quite quickly, and finishing around the top 10, maybe knocking the door of a top 5, so long as they can avoid the turn 1 bowling alley. Now, before I head off, I guess I'll quickly address one more question. Do I expect either of them to run any further races for this season? Well, I'd hate to break it to you, American fellas, folks, whatever you want to be called. I can almost rule that out for these following reasons. Number 1, the remaining road courses clash with Supercars events. So of course, Watkins Glen is next week, but the V8 Supercars are at the Bend next week, which I reckon if it wasn't the case, at least one of those guys probably could have done Watkins Glen as well. Whether they both would have done it is up for debate. And then of course we got the Charlotte Roval in the chase. that clashes with a small event called the Bathurst 1000. So I've got a compare the pair. Which would you prefer to do? Go for a Bathurst 1000 victory or race a meaningless race at the Charlotte Road Course? I think it's pretty obvious which one you'd rather go for. Which, speaking of Bathurst 1000, that also relates to my second point, which is that the quote endurance races are coming up, which has 900 points up for grabs across 4 races, being firstly the Sandown 500, which I can say I will be in attendance for. It'll be my first supercars race I've ever attended, so I am very much looking forward to it. Then, of course, there's the Bathurst 1000, and then there's the 2 races that make up the Gold Coast 600. And with the gap between these two only being 54 points, I doubt their team owners would want them doing too much worldwide traveling, globe-trotting, whichever they prefer to call it. So, yeah, I can almost say it's not going to happen. However, I could be wrong, and Shane might duck back over for another oval start to help that last little hurdle get cleared. Especially if IRP does go well. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I'll be wrong about SVG's plans. He's definitely been a bit unpredictable the last couple of months. So, yeah, only time will tell. So, that wraps up this video. I wasn't planning on this one being the first video I was going to do. I was planning on releasing a separate video. But unfortunately work kind of got in the way, so I kind of had to push this video forward, otherwise I knew I wasn't going to get it in time. As for my plans for race day, with the race starting at 4:30 in the morning, I am pondering up with the idea of just having shits and giggles and doing another watch along / live stream. So I'll make a decision on that in the next couple of days, and I'll do a community post. Probably Saturday my time, so probably Friday night in America. So like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. I refuse to call it the new title. I never will. It is Twitter, so I am calling it Twitter. Thank you all for watching. Catch you all either in the live stream or in the next video.